You are all weirdos.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back, or welcome to the Weird Science Weekly Review Show, the Manga Weekly Review Show. It's going to take us a bit to get back into things here, but this is going to be something we'll do every Wednesday from here on out, though this initial episode back, we're going to keep things light.
Short,
we're going to keep things on the lighter side of there. We have a bunch of books, bangers. As we go forward, we'll add more as long as we can keep it manageable. We don't need a 3-hour podcast, but we do end up wanting to have a bunch of books on it, especially stuff on the Jump Plus side that we ended up thinking, you know, there's not a lot of people paying attention on the review side of things. It does look like a lot of the things are popular. And if you don't know, Spy Family, Kaiju number 8, stuff like that is Jump Plus. So that is one of the things people do pay attention to that. But I don't see enough of the Dandadans and the Ayakashi Triangles around, which had been bangers for us, even when we were doing it before. A bunch of gems in those, I'll tell you. And we'll see by the end of this. We'll actually ease back into things whether or not we have our gem of the week. I'm sure that we'll be able to
find somebody.
Could there be possibilities of a gem of the week being a murderous girl? Is there a possibility of that, Luke? Because we have a bunch of books here. Before we get into it, though, go over to Twitter at Weird Manga. Follow us. We'll follow you back. And then head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Weird Science Manga, where you can support us for all the things we do, including bringing this thing back, this episode, this show, very weekly. Yes. And, get early access to stuff as well. But all those things will be in the show notes, including links to our Reading Club podcast that we end up doing each week. But we'll get into this. We're going to start it off with what, Luke?
Well, first off, to kick things off, we got Dandadan Chapter 75. Ran into someone deadly. Ooh.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And you end up having Momo and Vamola, the alien, who dresses up in a kaiju-type outfit at points, going and trying to take a shortcut because of all the things going on. It is a sus cut. And you end up having Momo has to take it because of the idea that they were a little delayed because she was trying to get the Vamola dressed up right, kind of teaching her. At one point, it was fun as you get into this where Momo hates Vamola because Vamola kind of seems like she wants to marry Okuran. And in that, there's a big jealousy deal. But it does seem like they have a connection. So they go down this crazy sus cut. And it looked like Vamola screwed up. She ended up walking in the middle of this road. You end up having some hexes and things being thrown out by Momo, but they run into the ugliest of ugly, the slit-mouthed woman. It's a giant, just demon-type deal who ends up wanting to look sexy, but there's no possible way, right? No. Except what you end up doing, and it's one of those like wingman things. If you are out with somebody who is a little not so good looking, then you look better. And what happens is Vamola ends up going full out in the kaiju outfit, looks like a little Godzilla's, right? And you end up having the slit-mouthed woman actually like this, saying, when you're with me, I actually look pretty beautiful. And that's pretty much the big thing with this monster. Just wants to look pretty. It's not pretty. That's just me. Spoiler alert. Not pretty at all. And so you end up having an initial fight, and out of nowhere, we get the big sus panty body slam. I'm like, I don't think I needed this. And getting back to this, I actually was ready and prepared for Ayakashi to be sus.
Yeah, you weren't expecting it from Dandadan, though. Oh, boy.
Especially an old lady that looks horrific. But yeah, there's full-out wrestling slam.
Yikes.
And in that, though, you end up having Momo starts yelling pomade, and you find out that if you say this a certain amount of times, almost like a Beetlejuice or a Candyman, but this is to get rid of them. It's funny. It's the twist to get rid of. If you say that a certain amount of times, then the monster disappears.
Easy.
And she keeps yelling. It's funny because she keeps yelling at Momo, "Don't you say that, you jerk." No. Keep saying it. And Momo kind of stops for no reasons at points. Just say it. Though, at the point that the real problem is, she has this magic mirror deal. And she's always looking into it. Oh my God, I'm so pretty. Well, she ends up getting Vamola into the Mirrorverse.
Trapped inside.
And ends up where, at that point, it does seem like Momo has to stop. If you get rid of the Slipmouth Woman, then you're going to have Vamola in this verse. And the play is, what does Momo care? She even says, why would I care? I don't like her.
Uh-oh.
It's ridiculous. She cares. We see that she does end up caring. So Momo goes to attack and in a way uses her powers. I like it too. You almost get a Gigi type, face and body expression when she grabs the mirror and points over to the mirror, because she did grab the mirror and starts running and says, I'm going to go back to Granny and try to figure all this out. But she's not. She's not going to get the opportunity to, because if this monster is in any part of a reflection of the mirror, it then can control the mirror and then ends up putting Momo into the Mirrorverse. Now, all of this is very quick. It's funny. We come back to this in a chapter that really, has Momo and Vamola, where we had even characters that were introduced since the last time me and you talked about it on the weekly show. Vamola's new, but there's a couple other characters that are pretty fun to have in there. Gigi's able to control his evil eye at bits and whatever.
Okaroon.
And we have this, and Okaroon. And you have this going, and I'm like, well, it's easy to go. And what I want now, if they are stuck in this Mirrorverse, I wonder how long, but they might be able to get along even better in there. And through this, you want Vamola to be able to talk.
Because they were getting some progress going, but I don't think it lasted very long.
And you want her to be able to talk and figure out things, because in the background of all this, you even have what looks like a alien invasion that might have even been started by Gigi, who decided to get into the Kaiju outfit.
Classic
so
Gigi.
It's fun. And it's classic. Dandadan is actually more of a setup chapter. What would you give it?
I thought it was actually pretty solid. I did like it. Yeah, we've had some bangers, but I like this because it's a Momo spotlight. She does have that heart of gold. We do see at the start she didn't care about Vamola, but then she risks it all to save her kaiju buddy. She's stuck in the mirror with you, Jim. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go solid. 8.5 out of 10.
I'm an 8 out of 10, so I'm a little less than you. Art looks great, but we'll move on to the next book, Kaiju number 8, or Monster number 8, as I'm reading it.
I feel like we're on the road to bangers. Like, the bangers is within sight with this one.
We'll get into this. What is it?
Well, we have Kaiju number 8, or the Monster number 8, chapter 70.
There is what looks like a big invasion. It looks like the Kaijus are all stepping it up
big time
to end up taking everybody down. So they're going to need the numbered weapons.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, it is. And the all hands on deck mean that, some people might actually go down, because it's not great when you become one of them numbered Kaiju. But we end up starting off in the Sumida ward in Tokyo. And could this be called Bridezilla? This one? I think it might be, because there is a wedding to be had here. And it is for one of the guys who's like one of the cleanup crew.
He was the cleanup crew guy, yeah.
Everything looks so nice. Everybody's waiting. Oh my God, look at the bride. Bridezilla showed up. You have this huge kaiju. So awfully bad coincidence, because they're in this one floor, and I'm like, why does this kaiju just want to go to that one floor? But it does wreck kind of the whole building there as things are just going off, and you do end up seeing that this is something all around. I mean, they're having a kaiju big attack, and you get some pretty cool, unique kaiju going on, some pretty neat things in it. So Narumi shows up,
slicing and dicing,
pretty bad butt, right? Slices this kaiju up. Looks really cool, and I love he's a bad butt. Do end up seeing the guy there whose daughter was getting married, all in tears, like, oh my God, Commander Narumi, thank you. Okay, let's get a roll call here. And we do end up even seeing Mina.
Gang's all back together.
Cool to see them all lined up here, ready to roll. And the art is always really good. But overall, it's a setup. Now
setup,
I think that we're going to really kick some butt because we're going to go after those kaiju, full out. So what would you give this?
I thought it was solid. Yeah, big setup, but very cool setup. I mean, like all those crazy looking kaiju, it's almost like setting up like these are the different boss battles that we're about to face. And you have all the crew lined up, ready to go. And I'm going to be very interested to see. Like, this is going to be pretty big time. I'm not sure if everybody's going to be, get out of this in one piece. I'm going to go with a very high score of 8 out of 10.
I'm going to go 8 out of 10 as well.
Solid.
Some of the chapters that you ended up having right before this were bangers. They really were. And it's a shame that we come back here, which is a good chapter, but chapters where they end up giving Kafka back his phone. And he ends up seeing that the 3rd Division were worried about him and didn't hate him. He was worried about that. That was really good. You
Big
just
feels.
had him, I think, last chapter sitting down with Mina and having a discussion about how he was always there, stepping it up and protecting her as a kid and things like that. That was awesome. So you do have a lot of the stuff that we had been wanting to have in the book for so long. Now we have a full out, what it feels like a combined effort, and the war is on. I mean, it really is on. I think the last 10 chapters are probably better than anything before that because you actually feel like things are paying off. Things are elevating. Things are getting a lot better. So I'm 8 out of 10 as well. But what is next?
Well, now we take a trip down to Sus Town with Ayakashi Triangle, chapter 106. Heia's task. Heia, Jim.
I love Heia. And again, when we're talking about this, we just said about Kaiju number 8 that we think it's getting better and we're excited. Dandadan and Ayakashi, those were always some of our favorites.
All reliable.
Still good.
Still sus, still good.
You start off with Soga. He's off fighting and trying to take down this electric Ayakashi. You end up at the end when he finally gets to it, it looks like a Pokemon 100%. It really does, right? So in the meantime, with that going on, that allowed Matsuri to come and visit, wanting to see where Soga is. Hey, is Soga here? Oh, no, he's out trying to capture this Ayakashi going on. Oh, what are you doing? And we see that Heia, who has a little bit of an attention span problem, I guess, and the idea of trying to calm down, you ended up having her brother Soga said, draw some things. Drawing will end up, letting you focus. You can end up doing that. In the meantime, she's drawing Ponosuke, Po there, and she's not that excited about drawing Po. And I'm telling you, in this chapter, gem of a gem.
I didn't know he had it in him. I'm telling you.
He gets over the top in this. That is so funny what's going on because Heia ends up saying, well, I'm kind of bored of Po. He's kind of lame. Can I draw you? And I'm like, okay, now this isn't going to get that sus, right? No, I'm wrong. It got so sus right away. I mean, the idea of, well, I would like to have you as a model for the sketch, so now you have to get nude. What? Nude? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, Heia is so, I don't know, diabolical? What is she doing here?
She's always playing sus games.
End up having Matsuri just completely nude, at points just going, getting mad and standing up, all this stuff. Why do I have to be nude? And then all of a sudden you look over and Poe's like, hey there, big boy. I mean, batting the eyes going, it's a sexy Po.
Winking.
Hey, Miss Heia, I can be your nude model. I'm like, oh my God, he took off his clothes.
Dedication.
And she's not even paying attention. He's so upset. So then you end up where Matsuri's like, I don't like to be nude like this. I feel weird. So they end up putting on this outfit. Does look cute, right? So then you end up as Po like, oh man, I got to get an outfit on myself. You feel so bad for Po on the side throughout.
I don't know why we feel bad for a bird, but we do.
He's just there desperately trying to get anybody's attention in that. But you end up where the drawing's going on. You end up having Heia says, oh my God, this is my best drawing. Now, I'm an idiot. I swear when I first read it, when Matsuri picks up the tablet, even earlier when she was drawing Po, because that's how it started. And I'm like, why did she draw Po like a shark? because there's like a decal. I didn't realize that it was a tablet. I thought it was just a piece of paper and they were showing us. And then when you get to I still to this point thought that, why does she keep drawing everything? Oh, it's a tablet. And they're looking at it. You don't really get to see it. But yeah, you end up where poor Poe, and she's like, oh my God, this is really great, Hey. And Heya's like, oh yeah, a good model makes a difference. You have a nice body, unlike that pigeon.
Oh.
Poe freaks out. I can't listen to such garbage in silence.
Whoa.
And then pretty much is like, I'm getting out of here. I'm taking your tablet. This is ridiculous. And goes up
tablet
to across the street on top of the roof. And then just the expression of looking starts getting upset.
So sad.
I'm going to tell you to crack the code.
Oh, whoa.
Soga out of the picture allows Poe to just be nuts because he's not there trying to impress Master and trying to go that. Even then, here, though, oh, man, I messed up. I'm supposed to be helping Heya with her training. That's when you see that Ayakashi, the lightning beast, where then I'm thinking Soga's like across town. What's he doing? It's right here. But it comes through the wires. You end up seeing it. This electrical Ayakashi that looks straight up Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea, it's going to erase this picture. It can erase data. That's all that's going on. That's all that Poe.
That's the highest stakes there is.
Those are the stakes. And hey, are like, oh my God, then I won't have my thing and you won't be able to see how great I did. I think that they might be able to tell Soga how good she did. You know what I mean? But that data gets taken away. She's going to kill Poe and make him into a feather blanket.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my God. And then you end up, Soga shows up and he ends up collaring this Ayakashi, takes it down. You end up where Poe gets upset, says he's a bad familiar, but Poe is the glue of all this. And then, yeah, you end up where Soga shows kind of likes the Matsuri as well. So it is pretty cool. And the lightning beast at the end is getting away as kind of a end to a funny little one-shot chapter. Yeah, it's like a very sitcom-esque thing.
I thought this was a banger. I mean, any Ayakashi chapter that has Soga or Heya and Poe, like the triple threat, and really Poe stepping up big time here. Poe getting jealous. I didn't know he had it in him.
No, I didn't either.
Maybe he'll be the biggest gem of them all this week, Jim. I don't know. But yeah, it was a banger.
Be.
And that, apart from like a couple of panels, not too sus, and really, it was the Poe bits that were the most sus. He was really, he was getting sexy Poe action. He was going big time. So I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, I thought this was a banger. I'm going to go 8.8 out of 10.
I'm going 9. I love this book. And again, what I love about the Ayakashi Triangle is these side characters. Heya, great. Rita, the brother of Suzu, is 100%. And we had just recently gotten a bunch of him. Every character is really getting, spotlight. Some evolution, some spotlight, and evolving up. So I really do like it. I really, really do like this book. But right now, we're going to go off to a special segment. A special segment. Speaking of gems, we're going to be going off to have old Luke Hollywood go and talk about some of the big bangers.
Boom.
But we'll go off to that. And then me and you will be back with 2 other bangers after that to finish up the podcast.
What's up, manga fans? It's your boy, the Hollywood Kid, back at it again on the Weird Science Manga and Anime Podcast. Back at it again on the very weekly review show. Oh my goodness. Wow. Don't call it a comeback, because we never left. We simply changed up formats and we're doing other business. But apparently, word on the street is that people liked us talking the weekly books, very weekly, and ask, and we shall deliver, because that's just the type of dudes that me and Jim is. Oh my goodness. Weird Science Manga Podcast for the people, by the people, talking manga, nonsense like that. Bada bing. So you know how it is. Or maybe you don't, if this is your first time listening. Welcome, new listeners. But you know how it is, how we do. Me and Jim talk about what's new, the new books that is, and we discuss some bangers. But really, the real secret is that Jim does not be reading all the bangers, ladies and gentlemen. And so it falls on little old me, my shoulders, to do all the heavy lifting around here. Oh my goodness. Jim, don't be reading the big books. Jim, don't be reading the One Pieces, the Black Clovers, the Jujutsu Kaisen, and the My Hero Academia. Does he now? No, he doesn't. He can barely keep up with the small stuff, like the Ayakashi Triangles and the Dandadans. He's having problems. But that is why I am here to pick up the slack, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to discuss all the big books. We're going to discuss it lickety-split because we're a new streamlined show. We don't have time to be chit-chatting, dilly-dallying, anything like that. No way, Jose. We're going to get to the big books. We're going to find out if they're bangers, and we're going to get out. That's how we're going to do business here. Oh my goodness. So without further ado, let's hop to it, shall we? With My Hero Academia, chapter 367. Deku versus All for One, with a crispy cover page and a crispy color page on top of that. Ooh, everybody's tuning in for Anime Season 6, which I think is starting this weekend at time of recording. So that's exciting. I still need to watch them OVAs that they did, a few months back at this stage. So I best get on that right sharpish, I suppose. Oh boy. But everybody's tuning in and watching, including twice. R.I.P. Gem that he is. Oh boy. Oh, by the way, everybody, before we get down to business, some time has passed since we last were discussing the latest My Hero Academia chapters, and you might be wondering just what exactly happened in that time. Well, I'm here to tell you that you better find out by yourself, buddy. Oh boy. Go check out the wiki or something, because I don't have time for the cliff notes around here. Oh yes. Or, alternatively, you can also just download the best app in comics, the best deal in comics, the Shonen Jump app, and you can read some of them there for just $2 a month. So I'm told it's the best deal in comics. Yes, indeed. Or they're also available on the Manga Plus. You can read them there for free. So no excuses. Do your homework, catch up, be like Jim, and try and catch up and fail. But that's why I'm here, to pull us all through. Bada bing. So, if you remember, we were in the middle of a big, giant, crazy war, and our boy Deku is flying in to Sky High Academy so he can beat up Shiggy 2.0 with his creepy hand upgrade. We get a quick flashback to see how he was able to fly over. He got a hand from Top Gun and the boys. Tom Cruise and his pals. Very, very nice of them, because they were hanging around after the big fight with Stars and Stripes. Star and Stripe, if you remember. I think that's the last thing we covered, actually, the last time we were talking about the My Heroes up to date. So that's ironic. We've come full circle once again. But they're there to lend him a hand. They're putting all their chips on this Deku kid, because that's what Star and Stripe wanted, and he's inherited that all might, all for one power, and he's gonna reach history's nastiest villain and kick his butt. Ooh, that Shiggy's nasty, everybody. Oh, no. But then flashback to reality. Back to present. We see Deku smashing in. Everybody's happy. Mirio's got a smile on his face. Shiggy's thinking this boy's gotten strong with his kick attacks. Smash City. Shiggy goes flying. Midoriya is in the cage. I repeat, Midoriya is in the cage. Sky High is about to get even higher, baby. Oh my goodness. Deku says, sorry I'm late. I had some business. Some shenanigans with Toga. Oh jeez. But then he looks around, and what does he see? Utter carnage. The battlefield. You got thumbs everywhere. Hansi McGee's been going crazy. Oh no. And it's not good. You see Bango, he's down for the count. He's looking like he's having big problems. And Midoriya just sees all this. And he starts to panic. He sees Bakugo down and out. He sees Bakugo's All Might super rare card with the blood on it, just like Agent Coulson's was in the Avengers. Oh no. And yeah, he's struggling. He looks around, he sees Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist wasn't originally wearing 3/4 lengths, but that's how it happens on the battlefield. Oh no. He sees Nedry with her midriff exposed unintentionally. He sees Amajiki looking like he's got bad stomach problems. Food Wars went wrong. He sees Mirko not going to be hopping anywhere because she literally has no limbs left. And he is freaking. He is having problems. And this is where Hansi McGee, Shiggy 2.0, he realizes he has an opportunity here, and he stokes those fires. He throws diabolical shade, telling him that it's all his fault. Oh, Midoriya was a little late, and now all your buddies are dead. Oh, jeez. And this just triggers Midoriya, I think is the correct term. He just goes nuts. We know that a lot of the One-for-All abilities, the quirks, they're activated by emotions. We know specifically that one of them quirks, Black Whip, is activated whenever Midoriya gets a little mad. whenever he gets a little angry. And we see he is very angry here, and he looks like a demon. He looks straight up demonic. He's got pointy hair. He had pointy hair on the cover too, but this is super pointy. He's so angry. He's got like the whip in his mouth to stop himself from breaking his teeth because he's just so mad. Oh, he's furious. Oh, jeez. And this is cracking up old Hansy McGee. He loves it because he knows that when Deku gets mad, that's when his moves get simple. His head is not in the game. He does not have his eye on the prize. There is no squeaky basketball shoes anywhere near this place. He is having problems. And Shiggy is going to throw that shade until he basically cracks. But that's when we have the MVP come in, everybody. Oh my goodness, Mirio pops up out of the ground after saving the world by twerking last chapter. You gotta read that to believe it. He is back once again, and he is here with a reassuring word to Deku. He says, don't worry, Deku. Don't listen to Hansy McGee over there. They're not all dead. Everybody's still okay. Everybody's still kicking. And guess what? Also, Edshot is trying to save Bakugo's life by playing Osmosis Jones in there. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing his best. So nobody's down for the count yet. Nobody's given up. Even outside, we see Eraserhead and Nato Monoma, the jerk that he is, holding hands. So they are all in it together, baby. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Like, I get Mirio is trying to do the good pep talk here, and it helps. Wow, I don't know, Mirio. You see those guys earlier on, and they seem to be not kicking according to me. I'm telling you, they might be having problems, but it is just the word that Midoriya needs. It is just a positive reinforcement he needs to get his head back in the game. Even when Hansy McGee tries to snap back all that empty talk, all that nonsense coming from the heroes, and Mirio snaps back too. He says, we're the heroes, and if we don't talk the talk, we can't walk the walk. You hear what I'm saying? Just like All Might, he said he's going to put his money where his mouth is. He's going to do the hero business. And then Deku remembers he's going to do it all for Top Gun. He's going to do it for all the fragments of One for all the users still in his head, still in his heart. He's going to save the day. So he deactivates crazy mode, gets a hold of himself. Sorry about all that, Lemillion. I was just going crazy. And then Lemillion rubs his nose and says, save your sorries until we win this, hero. Let's go kick Hansy McGee's Hansy butt. Oh no. I wonder how that works, actually. That's very odd. But anyway, oh boy, we are back in action. Midoriya is ready to go, and he says, all for one. Is Shiggy still in there? Is Shiggy inside all them hands? Can Deku get a handle on his rival Shiggy and pull him out of that nonsense all for one 2.0 Hansy's supreme body? Oh my goodness, I guess we'll just have to wait till next week to find out, everybody. Whoa, what a chapter to return to. Monumental. Oh my goodness. We had it all. We had Deku freaking out. We had Trip Down Memory Lane. We had Mirio stepping up, saving the world once again. And we had Top Gun flying in as well. It was an absolute banger. What a way to celebrate the return of the anime 6th season. I mean, you're going to be watching that, of course. But definitely, you got to be reading this manga too. Because it's all popping off right now. We've been waiting for Deku to get to Sky High for the beatdown. And it did not disappoint once he arrived. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to reading more, and Horikoshi is swinging. I'll be honest, there was a couple of chapters where it dipped. I'm still not so sure about Edshot playing Osmosis Jones and fixing Bakugo. We're going to have words about that later on, trust me. But I think this is a banger, and I am very much enjoying it. Certified Club Classic is getting a 9.5 from me. Bada bing. There we go. Lickety split. We'll move on to the next one. Jujutsu Kaisen, another heavy hitter. Chapter 198. Sakurajima McConnelly, Part 8. Oh boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I might not be as excited about this chapter, just to spill the beans a little. Oh gee. We kick off with the number one misogynist, Big Bro Naoya, back in action, and he's got domain expansion, Time Cell Moon Palace going on. Good for him. I wish he'd put on a shirt as well. Jeez, it's going to get chilly in there. Uh-oh. But we do see he has activated his weird eyeball technique, and poor old samurai dude and sumo lad I don't remember if we've been told their names, but I can't remember them anyway. They are caught in here. They get attacked with his film strip technique, because you remember he did have stuff going on with film strips and movements, but that's what this is all about. His movement, power in the cursed domain, and the domain expansion. He can basically do charades. It's like evil charades. And if they don't copy exactly what he's doing, they're going to be cut up and sliced to bits, which is crazy. They're bleeding, they're having problems. And Naoya is in the bag, pretty much. He's got this W in the bag. The crispy Victory Royale is on the way, but then he remembers, wait a minute, where's that pesky Maki? She should be here. He thinks, she's like Toji. Remember Bad Butt Toji back in the day? She also lacks the curse energy, but he should still be able to sense her, still be able to locate her. And he's thinking about that. Meanwhile, old samurai dude goes in for the swing, going in for the kill, perhaps doing it for the thrill, but he's not going to be doing much later, because slice and dice, he's feeling pretty handless. Somebody give him a hand, everybody, because he can't do much chopping anymore. And then bam, speaking about chopping, Naoya gets one right through the chest. Oopsie doopsie, looks like Maki was able to handle business. And it's explained pretty much that because she doesn't have cursed energy, all this boils down to Maki not having any cursed energy, and that being her trump card for a lot of things. She's able to get in and out of the barrier for the domain expansion. She's able to not be sensed. Presence is undetected because she doesn't have that cursed energy. She's able to do the slicing and the dicing though. No problem with that. Then we get perhaps flashback in the mind. Flashback of hanging out with Mai on the beach and Mai telling her about this special sword that she gave her. I don't really remember that. I need to go back and check those chapters. But apparently this sword is so darn cool. It's a cursed tool. It's a replica of the cursed tool Split Soul Katana. And it has the ability to cut the soul. And right now, it's going to be cutting Naoya's bad boy misogynist soul. Oh no. Naoya thinks it ain't that easy. Maki has not got the W in the bag just yet. He's going to turn around and go freaky and try to kill her. But too late again. Slice and dice right down the middle of that big ugly nose. And Maki has taken home the W. The crispy Victory Royale. Sliced and dice. The domain's guaranteed hit does not work when you don't have no cursed energy. So really, Naoya is a fool. He is a schmuck because Maki doesn't have cursed energy, but she does have big boss energy right away. And slice and dice. Domain's done. Old samurai lad and sumo boy, they get out of there. They're looking a bit cut up, but they should be okay. And then they turn around and they can't believe that after all these years, a demonic fighter equal to Toji Zenin was fully realized. Maki is in the building. And she's not playing games. Oh my goodness. And she's looking pretty bad butt indeed. So yes, very cool, very nice and all that. But really, let's get down to brass tacks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not mess around, okay? We're spinning wheels. We are spinning wheels big time here. We have already seen Naoya get finished, get done in like the schmuck that he was. And we already saw Maki handle business there. And we already knew that Maki was a queen. So it's a take a trip down memory lane, be kind, rewind once again. Seems very redundant here, I must admit. I mean, we only got Naoya back like 4 chapters ago, and now he's dead again. If it's nice, do it twice, but he didn't really need to come back, did he? I feel like we're spinning wheels here. And Maki, we already knew that she was pretty killer. Without her cursed energy, she could still handle business. But now to have her straight away on that same level as no curse king Toji, I mean, that's pretty cool. But it's all stuff we already knew. There's nothing new being obtained here. It's cool to see it, sure, but are we going to bring back everybody? And kill him again? I mean, that seems pretty weak sauce to me. So I'm not very impressed. I really do hope that we get the ball rolling here. Because, let's be honest, this culling game is starting to drag. It's starting to Spy Family boat up in here. Those in the know. No, you know what I'm saying. It's just really starting to drag its heels. How long has it been since we've seen Yuji Itadori? How long has it been since we've seen Gojo sealed in that dang box. Too long. We've been spinning wheels. We really need to get this ball rolling. We need to see something going on. Because yeah, it's been nice to see all the different sections in the Cullen game. It's been nice to see Hakiri, the third year, handling business. But when it comes to stuff like this, stuff we've already covered, it's really starting to drag, and we really need to get the ball rolling. So I'm going flat 7. Could be lower, but I do think Maki is a queen. So I mean, she gets a high score. Bada bing, she is a gem. And most definitely not for Naoya. Anti-gem misogynist award. He gets blasted though, so it's okay. But there you have it. Those are 2 chapters. One banger, one okay, needs to get the ball rolling. So there you go. Happy days. We tried to do this lickety split. We did our best. But we had fun. That's the main thing. You and I, we all learned something together. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, everybody. So without further ado, I reckon it's time for us to hop on back to Jim and me as we discuss some other bangers that may not be big books necessarily, but are still bangers nonetheless. Bada bing, bada boom. Back to you, Jim.
All right, we're back. Okay. We're back from the Luke Hollywood section that everybody knows and loves. But 2 bangers coming up here. And one of them, really one of the biggest books out there, especially with a anime coming up that's going to really push it through the ceiling. But what are we talking about?
Well, now we have the Chainsaw Man, chapter 105, Red Hot. Ooh.
Yeah, Red Hot. And this was one of those books that when we were doing the regular show, the weekly review show, it wasn't even coming out. It was on that hiatus, and we know about hiatus, right? They last a long time. No. And so it came back. We do have a Chainsaw Man Reading Club where we're going to be doing, I think, chapter 19 this week. So back there if you want to go and listen to that. But here, when we come back to this, you end up getting a new main character in this Asa, who really just is set up with the combination of the war devil Yoru want to kill the Chainsaw Man. So it's a crazy way to come back, and you're pretty much following a character that wants to end Denji. Now, in the meantime, Denji is in this, bragging to everybody and wanting to get laid by saying that he's Chainsaw Man. And it's almost one of those things of, hiding in plain sight. Whether Denji knows it or not, it's a good play, because when we end up starting out here, you end up getting of the mind talk between this Asa and this war devil Yoru. And why don't you go and kill this guy? He said it. He said he's the Chainsaw Man. And Asa, and it's funny where you have Asa, what are you, stupid?
Don't call me stupid.
He can't be the Chainsaw Man.
Denji is playing 4D chess, but he's only playing checkers. But to everybody else, he's playing 4D chess.
It's the funniest thing. Denji is safe for now, because he's so up on Front Street about being Chainsaw Man. Him. And so with all of that, you have a nice little argument between both Yoru and Asa, who you can't like either. It's not one. This is not the idea of, say, an Itadori and Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen, where you're like, oh man, I like Itadori. It's a shame that, no. Asa's bad on her own. Now she ends up being real sus with this Yoru. But she ends up going and saying, I want to go visit my friend Yuko. She almost ended up dying. You ended up having Asa save her. But in the meantime, we didn't realize what had gone on here, because you end up, Asa goes off to talk to this Yuko, and she's sitting there
sunbathing.
And this starts off in a nice deal of 2 people who are outsiders, because Yuko says, she's kind of quirky. I don't really get a lot of friends. I have people I talk to, but not friends. And you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. They end up becoming friends. That's a nice thing. And when they're doing this, Yuko, who is pushing the conversation, I swear to God, just wants to spill the beans.
It's like pushing it into sus zone immediately.
Because she says to Asa, hey, can you tell me a thing? If we're BFFs share secrets, stuff that we don't tell anybody else. And old Asa tells the story. I have to admit that there was a story quite like this in my past as I believe a 3rd grader. Peed my pants. No. So what I did was I just got water, and I figured the idea is if you have a little bit, that's, you make it so ridiculous, there's no way. So I ended up just pouring water all over my pants and coming out, oh my God, the sink, it got me. And then everybody, they knew. But Asa says that she ended up peeing her pants one time in school and just said, oh, it's sweat. And everybody kind of went with it. Thank God they didn't, give her the nickname because those things stick with you. Like I told you, I know from history, but you end up where it's the story of peeing yourself in class. And you have Yuko, who ends up, oh man, you told me that story. Oh, and then starts laughing to the point where I really thought Asa was going to slice her.
She's like laughing.
I mean, she doesn't stop.
She's having a riot.
And then you end up where Yuko says, that was a big one to share. I'm going to now have to, you forced my hand into giving you a big story. By the way, I killed my neighbor. I'm like, what? Since you peed your pants, I figured that I got to tell you, I killed a man. And they're just sitting there. And Asa, we know, has killed people. End up, that's where the war devil gets involved, all that stuff. So you end up where you don't know what her reaction's going to be. And at first, it's pretty much both of them are just psycho. They're both serial killers.
Well, I almost think, she doesn't know, what do you even say? You know what I mean?
I don't know. What I say is you're going to see in these panels of me drifting off to the left. I'm getting the heck out of there. But she ends up where it doesn't seem like maybe she really believes it. But, oh, man, wow, why'd you do that? Oh, he's gambling. He does the pachinko.
The pachinko's
you love the pachinko.
On the welfare disabilities.
In that, I just want to think that Ace is like, the hell does that matter to you? It does matter, and we'll see why. It's so crazy in this, because I just thought to myself, yep, Yuko, you are insane.
Crazy
you
class.
Are a psychopath. Asa, I thought that you were bad with this war devil. You get the heck out of there. Don't get anywhere. This girl is insane. And so they end up having an awkward silence. You get a full page spread. It looks great. And Asa's like, really? Were you serious about killing somebody? Yeah, you want to see? Now we're seeing just straight up, stand by me. You want to go see a dead body? I'm like, no. And she says, huh? Oh, no, it's just right in my backyard. You want to see it? And she says, no. And then this is where the big play is. And this is crazy. And this could really, really screw Denji down the line. Because this girl ends up saying, and it makes sense, they took down the Justice Devil when they ended up, that's what almost killed her. And she ends up saying, you can't keep secrets from me now. I know what's going on. Don't worry, though. I won't tell. And it's funny where she just said, I killed my neighbor. You're waiting for Asa to say, because first off, you're scared. I mean, she just confessed that to me. She's going to kill me to keep her secret. You think that Asa's going to say, listen, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell it. But no, it's Yuko who says, don't worry. I won't tell anybody your secrets either. She doesn't mean peeing her pants. She says about how you killed your teacher and class president, and about Yoru knows everything, and especially knowing the war devil in her. That's huge. Insane. How would you know that? And says there's no secrets. And just the way she plays this, so insane. No secrets between besties. I'm like, you were out of there. And she says, listen, that thing is, I made a contract with the Justice Devil yesterday. When they ended up having that attack, she ended up making the deal with it, a contract, and a big thing. And it's one of the biggest things that go forward in Chainsaw Man are these contracts between devils and humans and things like that. It started off the whole series with the contract, kind of unwritten contract with Denji and Pachita. So these are big things, and says, now I have a sense of justice and power, and I can read people's minds, and it's perfect for me since I don't really understand people. If she gets near Denji, it's over. And that the big play here is really showing that she knows the war devil, Yoru, is in Asa, because if this is the case, what is she going to see with Denji? Hopefully she's just like, okay, I see this cute little dog in your heart. And she's going to be like, he's the Chainsaw Man. So this is bad.
Oh, yeah. Bad news for everybody.
She's insane. And all of that going down, this is crazy. But even Asa says, and Asa does it, she starts sweating. I mean, that's what shows you. There's big time deal going here. And then she says, oh, I feel better now I talked to you about this. But Asa tries to pull it back like, hey, aren't there illegal things about that? You can't make contracts with devils. And then you end up, no. I made the contract to save you, Asa. I'm going to get rid of your bullying problem. Don't go to school tomorrow.
Get me out of here.
holy crap, at the end, so many things. And I think that the clever play and the layers of it is to have her at first say, I killed my neighbor. He's gambling on his welfare money. There's where the justice comes in. He shouldn't be able to do that. That's why she killed him. She didn't kill him just because of what she killed him, because of that duty of the justice devil. And I think that the play is really good to have it. Like, you could have went right away, hey, by the way, I have a devil too. Hey, high five. And it wouldn't have played out as good because you end up getting scared of Yuko right away with just being Yuko.
That last line is freaky.
Oh, I know. And what is Asa going to do? She's got to have to stop this, right? She's got to do something with that.
But they were supposed to be friends, Chip. Oh, no.
I think this is very well done and has been very well done since it came back, because you still get Denji, but Denji is a side character. And I think at this point, even at the end of this chapter, you're not sitting. I said it's going to be bad if Yuko gets near Denji, if she can read his mind. But I don't sit there in these chapters saying, we need Denji. Oh, man, I want more Chainsaw Man. I'm interested in what's going on here, even if I didn't think so right away. Yeah, that first chapter back was really well done, but I said, kind of want Denji, and kind of not anymore. I'm like, okay, and Asa is not likable. Neither is Yoru, the War Devil. So why not introduce somebody that's even less likable in Yuko? But they're both quirky.
And they've got enough going on here that we don't need. Well, like, we have Denji, but there's enough spinning plates here to keep us invested, you know?
Yeah, you don't need it's not desperate need for Denji. It's starting to. This feels more like the vibe of like a Death Note, even where there's a bunch of characters, none of them likable, but you want to keep.
Yeah, you're always like, you got to keep watching to figure out what goes wrong next.
Yeah, but what susness is going to happen next? So I thought it was great, but what would you give?
I thought this was a banger. Just even the way it's set up and how like it quickly, like, it's just at the start friendly chat. Oh, brought you the soft drinks, and then it just gets twisted and corrupted. Somehow Denji's going to get roped into all of this nonsense. I cannot wait to see what happens next. I'm going to go with a very high score, 9 out of 10.
I'm going 9.5.
Oh,
take that. We will go off to our last chapter of the podcast. In this, like I said, a little bit of a, loosey-goosey getting back to some of these. We're going to be adding a bunch of books as we go, some of the newer books as well, because I know that Luke Hollywood thinks that they're all bangers.
Boom.
But what are we finishing up with?
Well, wrapping it up this evening, we have Spy Family Mission 68.
Yuri chapter, where you are reminded how crazy he is. But he's starting to, the funny play is throughout all of this, Yuri is starting to kind of the walls are breaking down a little bit with Lloyd, but not so much. I mean, he is too over the top with his love of his sister. It's been sus since the beginning. But I like this because it's more of a competition. It's more of a deal. And I still like where you end up Anya in this when she burps at the one time. She doesn't have a lot to do in this, where she's even called the Chihuahua girl again. Hey, go get that for me, whatnot. But you end up where Yuri comes in right after Yor had done a mission, and she ended up taking down the Steel Gut Gullick's son, who is this double-fisted, two-pronged axes type deal guy. Looks very, very, anime-esque, very video game-esque, except maybe that belt of his with that teddy bear on it. It's pretty funny. It is a funny play, and it's just kind of a goofy deal just to have her in the middle of him proclaiming how great he is, to just get blasted by Yor. He goes flying off into the ocean, but she ended up hurting her wrist when this happened. So when she goes home, she has to make an excuse to, Twilight, to the deal Lloyd. And so with that, though, in the worst time, Yuri shows up. Hey, everybody, it's me. How you doing, sis? And just freaks out. What did you do to my sister? What did you do to her hands? You're going to have to cook for her because she can't do that. And I like Lloyd's like, I usually do all the cooking. I mean, really? Now the contest is on. And this whole deal, it's just a contest. You end up having Yuri so upset. So he's going to show that he's a better cook than Lloyd. The problem is, he's never going to beat Lloyd in anything. He's just not good enough. The cooking isn't good.
No.
You end up, I like where yours like, Man, I used to think Yuri was a good cook, but I think that, my palate is a little bit up.
Is better with
yeah,
Lloyd.
It's Food Wars. Like, I think Lloyd's a little better at the cooking. And I mean, they are producing just 8 courses,
Gourmet
each
meals.
of them, all just crazy. There's lobster, all this stuff going on.
One of them's on fire. I mean, a couple of them are on fire.
And again, really, with some of this, you don't have much for Anya to do. But after Yuri ends up feeding his food, Lloyd goes to do his, and Yuri's stuff. No. Get Chihuahua Girl over there to do it. And it is so cute seeing Anya. Here comes the choo-choo as she's going. And you do see that Yuri almost wants maybe Yuri to get a win here just to shut him up. Because she knows, but the food, she can't even deny it. The food is so much better. And Yuri loses. So now Yuri puts out full contest mode. Now we're going to have our contest of cleaning the dishes. And Yuri goes a little too crazy and ends up breaking every dish that he's cleaning. In all this, Lloyd never says anything that's like, oh, well, I guess I'm better for your sister than you. He's always complimenting Yuri. He just wants him to stop.
Pretty much.
And it just doesn't end. So then it's like, no, we're going to clean up now. We're going to sweep and mop and do this. And Lloyd wins that. You end up, then he's like, oh, well, now we're going to do this. We have to have our shopping contest. And they go off. And I love this idea where Yuri just takes off. I mean, in a blaze of glory, he runs out. He is going to use his authority here in the SSS to such sus ways there, where he's going to informants, he's going to past criminals, and he's making them get him what's the best deal. Because it's who's the quickest, but also saves the most money. As this is going on, Lloyd just picks up his hat. It's like, I guess I'm going to the market and going down to get all these things. And I love the idea where you do have Yuri just thinks that he's won at this point. He comes home thinking he has won, and unfortunately, Lloyd has already beaten him home. He was quicker, he was cheaper, all of that stuff going on. But as he does this, he kind of, oh no, and he gives up by throwing everything on the floor. So all these groceries go off. I don't know what this whistle candy is, but that comes out, and you suddenly, in a chapter, that there is no way that Yuri is any sort of a gem. He's a gem.
Whoa.
He's a gem because all of that going down, all the things that he's getting, the one thing that he did really from the heart is he saw this whistle candy that he knows Yuri liked when she was a kid. This wasn't part of the shopping list. This shouldn't have been something that he got. And really, if he was sticking to the deal, he ended up getting that because that was the thing that he knew she would like. Not saying, I'm going to get this because Lloyd won't know. He actually, this is like the pure of heart deal that he did. And yeah, Yuri comes over and goes, oh my God, I remember that. We used to get it. And he's like, yeah, you like the apple flavored best. Yeah, you're right. And that's where Lloyd could step up and say, listen, I'm married to your sister, but I don't know half of what you know about her. And I love this deal where at that point, Gem Yuri, it's snot coming out of his nose. He's crying. His hair's everywhere. And when this is said, he like looks up and he's like, you think he's going to say, and this is classic Yuri, but you have Lloyd say, hey, it goes to show, I guess, it'll be a long time before I know you're half as well as her brother does. And you want Yuri to go, oh my God, thank you, Lloyd. You know what? Now, rest assured, I know that I still have a place in my sister's heart. Nope, he goes, damn right you know the bit. He starts screaming at him. And I'm the one who's able to support you from the heart. And don't you forget it. And you're like, yep, you just went back to Yuri classic. And that's the whole play of it. I'll tell you, one of my favorite Yuri chapters, because then he ends up, as he's going, like I'd lose to a loser like you, and then leaves. And I love this idea in this where all of them just know when Yuri shows up, there's trouble, but they all deal with it. I think this is the best Yuri chapter up there because you end up having some humor with it.
I thought it was solid. You're right. Like, we're not the biggest fans of Yuri, and usually the Yuri chapters are the ones we're a little down on, but I think you're correct. I think it's probably one of the better ones that we've ended up having. Big feels. Usually we don't ever get big feels. We just get, here we go with Yuri. But right at the end, who would have thought that whistle candy would have pulled out on the stops? And like, I'm not saying that I want a Yuri chapter every 2 weeks or whatever comes out, no thanks. But if it's going to start, getting to the stage where they're a little bit closer together and, getting on better with Lloyd and all that, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad if you showed up every so often.
You see, he leaves. So you're like, all right, he's gone. Let's get the things and whatnot. It's a fun little palate cleanser when Yuri does show up. But this one, I think, like I said, I think this was the best one of them. So what would you give it score-wise?
I'm going to go solid 7.8 out of 10.
I'm 7.5. And it's a solid 7.5. I love Spy Family. It's one of my favorites. So what is your gem of the week? Do you have a gem? Do you remember who your gem might be?
To be honest, there is no contest this week on who the gem is. If you've been listening, easy peasy. It has to be Sexy Poe for me.
It is Sexy Poe. He stepped it up. We didn't think he added him. It was great. So that is my gem of the week as well. But thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Weird Science Manga. And just as an aside, we could have come back with this as a Patreon-only show. We could have ended up doing that and saying, hey, I didn't think that was right. So we end up putting this on the regular feed. So I'm just saying it so maybe people can just support us there at the Patreon. But all of that going down, thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're looking forward to this show being back as much as me and Luke are excited to do it. So next episode next week, it'll come out every Wednesday. Next episode, we'll have a couple more books, some of the newer ones, and we'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.